way to the grocery store. We're gonna get some stuff for meal prep. So we are trying to really regiment our lives, like schedule it out, because with life, I'm sure everyone is kind of feeling this with quarantine, with just everything that has happened. It just feels like there's just been no schedule and things have been like all over the place and constantly changing, and we've really had to adapt this year and last year to just roll with the punches. So we are going to get our meals and try to be very diligent about that. We have actually been for the past few weeks, so I actually have not been great about weighing myself or really checking in or doing anything like that. So I kind of want to dial in just a little bit more and be able to track that progress a little bit better. And then we've been going to the gym and exercising a few times a week. Try to this week get into the gym 5 times Monday through Friday and do like our lifting split. So we're just kind of getting back into that. We have a lot of goals, so this is the way to reach it. This is how I've been successful in the past, is just being regimented, setting a schedule, setting a plan, and following it day in and day out. So here we go to the grocery store and I'll show you what we're getting. Back in the car, and fun fact, I actually hate the grocery store. It was not always that way. During the pandemic, we literally only would go to the same grocery store, and that was the only time I was like getting out, and I just ended up hating it after that being the only like place that we would go. I felt like I was on the Truman Show, no, not the Truman Show, Groundhog's Day, where you just literally wake up every single day and it's the same thing. That's what I felt like. So I was like, okay, we need to start switching up our grocery stores. But he has memorized where everything is. He's like, no, I know where everything is. I can get it so quick. So
I can do it with my eyes closed.
Yeah, so I ended up opting out of grocery shopping as of this year. It'll come back, but especially since I can't drive to the grocery store anyways, I'm a tag along and I'm helping. But you know what we decided to do was divide and conquer. He would go get groceries, grab everything, and then I was working on stuff at home, whether it was macular or cleaning the house or whatever chores we had. So we would really divide and conquer, especially since we've noticed our time getting so much thinner. I don't know. We have less time. Like we have more things that we're jam packing into our little bit of time. So we divide and conquer now. So I actually haven't been to the grocery store shopping like that in a while. And he's like, oh, it's weird to have you with us. With me.
You were very helpful.
It was helpful. I'm just a tag along, you know. So it was busy. We went at noon on a Sunday after like the church rush kind of a thing. You know, everyone's getting out of church and grabbing stuff for lunch and whatever. So yeah, it was busy. We have some ground beef here. Normally we would get like 93% lean, but they only had 85, which is a lot fattier than we normally get, but you know, not a big, huge deal. And then this is we make these taco bowls. I'll show you guys that in a minute. But we got some already pre-diced mushrooms, an onion, taco seasoning, and then some apples, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, bananas, a head of lettuce, and some bell peppers, and then Kodiak cakes. Love these things. These things are so amazing. In the freezer section, you can actually get the mix and make your own, but this is so easy. All right, so the reason that we got 4 is because it is buy 2 get 2 free. So this is diet sodas, and while I try to limit it, I do, if I am having like a craving, these things do really help. I enjoy these. Yeah, so that's why we get so many, and just put some away for when we run out. It's actually kind of crazy to me. I'm not sure if you guys can see the total, but all of this was $140. So there's cheaper places to go than Safeway. We do this when we are in a time crunch. It is more convenient, but we will shop at Costco when we can, and then also the military commissary, because even though my husband's not active duty anymore, we still have access to that. But $140, like, that's... Tell me if that is expensive for where you live. I know for where we were in Michigan, that would get you a heck of a lot more groceries. I'm gonna give these a little shout out too. We actually went to a farmer's market the other day and got these. And these are pickles from Ho Farms. And this actually really awesome restaurant that we used to go to a lot has some high quality food. They sourced a lot of their produce from Ho Farms, so I know that they're good. And then the beans, I've not tried this, but I'm pretty darn excited. This is, we didn't even really read the label, but hot garlic beans. So I should definitely try these. I'm a huge pickle person, so pretty pumped about supporting the local farmer and also getting some good snacks. Okay, so this meal plan is roughly around 2,000 calories per day, and I'm just starting to really ramp my exercise back up. I've kind of been like intro back into the gym and just doing some like light lifts and things like that. So now we're cranking it up a little bit, we're stepping it up, and so I'm going to really lock down on my food a little bit more. I have been eating more cheat meals as of late, but I will be sticking to this and being able to be more successful because I'm going to be planning out in advance. So for my first meal, I'll be doing 150 grams of egg whites with 1 whole egg. So I measure my oatmeal uncooked and it'll be 40 grams, and then I will cook that up. And now what I'm going to add into my eggs is I'm going to add some sauteed vegetables. So I have some mushrooms here, I have some bell peppers, and then I have an onion. So I'm gonna add all of that in just to like spice up the flavor. And I'll top that with like either a little bit of hot sauce, sriracha, or some low sugar ketchup. And that tastes really good. And with my oatmeal, what I do is while it's still dry, I add in a little bit of stevia. And then I will put, once it's cooked, I will top it. If it doesn't taste sweet enough to me, then I will add a little bit of sugar-free syrup, and that's really good. There is an extra level. I saw this on somebody else's YouTube channel where they did add a little of the sugar-free French vanilla creamer when they, like with the water when they were cooking it, it makes it a little bit creamier, so that's like a pro tip. But yeah, so I'll do that sometimes, but I just mix it up a little bit and keep it pretty clean, but that will be my meal 1. So for a snack after while I'm working, I'll typically have this pre-made and I'll have it in the fridge. And then since I'm working remotely, I'll just go to the fridge and I'll grab it and I'll sit down and keep working. But that will be 1 cup of Greek yogurt, and then I'll add 100 grams of mixed berries. So in my mix, what I really like is cut up strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. And then I'll sprinkle a little bit of stevia on top to make it sweet. And then for my fat, I'll do a tablespoon of peanut butter at the end. It's like a little bit of a dessert. Now, if you're not good at controlling your peanut butter, and I used to not be, where I would dip a little bit too heavy into that, the fat does go a long way. So you can do other things, like you could substitute that same amount for any sort of like nut or nut butter. But for me, I really like peanut butter, and the little tablespoon is perfect. And since I eat that at the end so that I'm already pretty full, and then I just get the flavor of the peanut butter, and it's really delicious. For lunch, my favorite thing is this taco bowl that I've been killing lately. It does not feel like you are even eating healthy. It's so sinfully delicious, but I cook up ground beef. Normally it's 93% lean. And so what I'll do is I'll start with I'll start with rice, and then I'm like, have to think about it in my head. I'll start with the rice. It's 125 grams of rice, and then I'm doing jasmine rice currently, and then I'll add some shredded lettuce on top, about a cup, and then I'll top it with my ground beef. That's 4 ounces of ground beef, and then I add the taco seasoning to it, and then like while I'm cooking it to make it taco meat, I'll top that with salsa, and then I will have some onions as well, and then I'll sprinkle that on top for like a little crunch and flavor, and then I'll add a little bit of this and drizzle this on top. It is so good. It's seriously, like, I would eat this for every single meal, but this is my lunch. It's kind of like a later lunch, so I get off of work at 2, and then I'll eat after that typically. Later in the day, as I'm working on Macular, our other brand, I will have my snack, which is a Power Crunch bar, and I am obsessed with the mint one. This is so good. The pro tip here is put it in the fridge, so when you eat it, it's cold. It's so good. And then I have an apple, just any medium-sized apple, and I will have a tablespoon of peanut butter, and again, that snack got the protein, got everything, but it's so good. It does not feel like you're dieting. You're not just eating veggies and plain chicken. So this is why I love this meal plan, and it is so good to get back on track with. Then I'll go to the gym, I'll work out, and then when I come home, this is the time where I'm craving food the absolute most, is at night, because I shower and I sit down and I'll watch like Forensic Files or something like that. And so I need something that is not gross or like clean. So I will do 2 Power Waffles, and right now we're really killing the chocolate chip ones. And then I will have a protein shake, and I will have a banana. This is actually my post-workout meal, so like if I were to work out in the morning, I would adjust that, and this would be what I would have like immediately after. But all of my meals are so good right now that any of them I feel like I could substitute easily and be very satisfied with. So I can, and if I want to, I will switch it up. It doesn't have to be at any specific time of day, but that's what really has been working for me super well. I tried it for a little bit. I did get off track just because of a few different like life things, but yeah, this has been working really well for me. Just to keep in mind, I am 5'9", so what works for me will not or may not work well for you. I just kind of want to share my journey and what I'm doing and the process of getting back in shape.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame.
All right, now that all of the food is cooked and prepped, ready for the week, I'm ready to be successful. I did want to sit down and talk to you about quarantine weight gain. I don't know if you've experienced this, but this is something that I've personally experienced, and let's face it, the past 1.5 years, going on 2 years now, has been really crazy. So there's been so many things, and one thing with Hawaii is we are a little bit different than the mainland as far as we are an island. So I understand that we can't just drive to the next state if our hospitals get overwhelmed, and with that, they have had us pretty locked down this entire time. At one point, we weren't even allowed to go out to beaches or hikes. Those were closed down. That was last year, so that was pretty crazy. But our gyms opened up slowly, and it was seriously, at the time this is being recorded right now, it was probably like our spin class didn't open back up to some capacity. It was like 20 individuals could go, and I think it wasn't like a month ago that just opened back up. Now, currently recording this August 2021, we are going to, they actually locked back down a little bit more, so now gym classes are 50% capacity, and things like that. And also I know a difference from my family on the mainland that some masks, like the requirements for masks changed, or were just suggested. That's never happened out here. That it's kind of like always just been a thing. So we haven't had any like where we've come out of it and things seemed very normal or anything like that. We've just kind of been living in like pandemic land for a while. So that takes like an effect on people in many different ways. It takes effect on the businesses as well. But personally, I felt an effect physically. Now, I was already taking a little bit of time off from competing, so I was going to get back into shape back then, and then everything like kind of locked back down. And what I mean by back in shape is just like getting back into a conditioning that I can go hiking and not be out of breath, where I can lower my body fat percentage because it is higher than normal for me right now. And so just getting back healthier and working out consistently, and then letting that like level out just a little bit. So yeah, the big thing was I was hired on my job remote, and then I started going into the office. Now I'm remote again, so I do spend a lot of time sitting at my desk at my computer. And then my new business, Macular Adventure Co. with my sister and husband, is something we do at nights and weekends and whatever. So then I end up sitting down working on that. So I find myself in a chair a lot. So at nighttime, my husband and I have been going out and we will walk these lagoons that are like out on the west side of Oahu, and that's just so nice. Just to get in a bunch of steps. It's about an hour walk, and we did that when the gyms were kind of tough, but we've been getting back into the gym and going back to a spin class, which is so fun. That I end up just being drenched in sweat. It pushes me so hard. If I were just sitting at home on my bike, I would never push myself that hard. So I love things like that. I love that that's available, but now that's kind of getting locked back down a little bit. So we'll kind of see what the fall has to what the fall has in store for all of us. But I just really am going to be focused back on it. I've actually said this, like, I feel like a bunch of times, and that's just really the process. Like in a normal, the gyms are open, every schedules are set, like think life is running pretty normally. You really have those, and I have those, everyone has those times where you just have a hard time getting the wheels turning again. And I would say that consistency back into it, it's just changing your lifestyle up. It can be somewhat challenging, but it's really like if you can just stick to it for like a couple weeks and be consistent, then all of a sudden it gets a lot easier. Like you just get way better at it, so it doesn't seem like this big challenge for yourself. So that's what I'm working on getting back into, even though I have said, oh yeah, I'm getting healthy again. Then I'll fall off the horse and then I get back up, and it's just the whole thing, the whole point is not about being perfect. So like if you have a bad day, like just don't let it ruin your week. Don't let that bad day turn into a bad week. You know, just shake it off and just keep moving forward, because this whole process is not about being perfect. It's just about, you know, working towards a schedule of exercising, making good food choices, you know, and just overall trying to be healthy. And, you know, your body, your weight, all of that stuff ends up reflecting that, like when you are putting in that time and, you know, you are feeding your body adequately. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. Kind of starting this series back up that I've been off and on. I will be documenting that here on this channel. I would love for people to be in the trenches with me and to get healthy with me. And I'd love to hear what you're doing. I will share with you what I'm doing. I've competed in bodybuilding competitions for years, so getting body weight off is not new to me. It's just starting the process and dealing with this pandemic and everything else that's been going on and the life changes and things like that. So it's navigating it a little bit differently this time, but I'm excited to share that with you here on this channel. If you like this video, if you give it a thumbs up, I would appreciate that so much. Please feel free to comment below any questions that you have, and I would love to hear what you're up to. You can subscribe and come back to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Survive.